Welcome back, Mr. Munyon here with 39-2, using Venn diagrams to represent and, or, and not statements. So let's go ahead and jump into the activity. Our goals are to make sure that we know how to use Venn diagrams to represent and, or, and not statements, as well as learn some new set notation to help us describe and, or, and not statements. So look at the mathematical notation for and, or, and not. Suppose that we're selecting students at random from Annabelle High School. Event A and event B. A is art and B is basketball again, just like we started with. Shade the region representing the event that the selected student takes an art class and plays basketball. So we know the students that do both will be this region right here, that little almond football shape in the middle. This region is called the intersection. So that's literally where the circle for A and the circle for B are overlapping. That's the only region that they're both a part of art and basketball. The set notation is this little symbol right here that looks kind of like an N, and that's convenient because it's the intersection. So we know for intersection, we think of that when we see the word and the notation that we use looks like an N. That little upside down U right there is representing the intersection. All right, let's keep on going. The next section says shade the region representing the event that a selected student takes art or plays basketball. So it takes art, all of these students here, or plays basketball. Well, we've got this extra region over here. All right, this right here, that, kind of a peanut-shaped region that we have right there. This is called the union of sets A and B and can be written as A union B. The probability that a selected student takes an art class can be written as probability of A union B. And once again, that symbol looks like a U, helps us think of a union. So union, we use that whenever we see the word or. And we know that the notation is just that U shape right there. For the next one, says shade the region representing the event selected student does not take an art class. So A is the art class. So I want any student outside of the art class. So all of this area here. All right. So here we have all of the regions outside of A. And all you should be left with that's not shaded is that circle for A. And this is called the complement. And we can think of this whenever we see the word not. So complement and we use a superscript C to represent the complement. So like this one right here, we put it above like where exponents would go. That's how we identify a complement of something. Notation should make this a little bit easier. They basically summarize what we just talked about. The intersection can be, I'll go ahead and add this in here, intersection. And this is a good thing to add to your notes, this little picture right here. The picture, the description, all of this helps us remember how to represent and, or, and not in Venn diagrams. Okay, so now that we have this, let's move on to some check your understanding. Let's see if we can identify this region right here. Pause the video, work on number 2, and then we'll have the answers here in just a second. All right, now that we've had some time to work on 2, suppose that a student selected at random from Annabelle High School, let S be the event the student plays soccer. So soccer. And H is honor roll. Okay, so shade the region that represents the event S, that little N symbol, H. We need to make sure we understand how to read that and communicate it to our neighbors. So N represents intersection. So we would shade this as, or we would say this as S intersect H. And we know that intersection is and. So where is the region that S intersects H, or where they play soccer and on the honor roll? We know that that is this region right here. That is the intersection. Describe the event S intersect H in words. These are students that play soccer and are on the honor roll. So the important part is this new symbol, the intersection. In English, we would translate that to words. We would translate that to and. Let's try another one. Shade the region that represents the event S union H. We know that union goes with or. So soccer or honor roll. That would be the union of these two circles. So imagine they're, turned into one shape. S and H are turned into one shape. You'd get this figure 8 or peanut shape here. Describe in words, that is soccer or honor roll. So all of these students are in soccer or honor roll. All right, so last one is the shade the region representing the event H complement. So this is everything outside of H. So anything outside of H is going to get shaded. Everything outside of the circle for H is supposed to be getting shaded there. That is H complement, and these are the students that are not on honor roll. So not is the complement that we need to associate with that complement. Not is what gets associated with complement. And this third one here, it says use the symbols. Basically, make sure we know how to practice probability notation. If you haven't done this one already, please try this one on your own first. All you're doing is translating back and forth between notation and English, or English and notation. And you can literally go piece by piece. So if you haven't already, take a moment, try it on your own, and then I'll have the answers here in just a second. Now that you're back, let's go piece by piece. Use probability notation to represent the probability that a vehicle is black. So probability, B and S are doing black and sedan. So probability is black. Just looks like this. For the next one, probability the vehicle is not black. We know that not can be represented with the complement. So probability not black. We just put that little complement symbol up there. All right, for the next one, probability vehicle is a black sedan. So this one's kind of interesting. To be a black sedan, it has to be both. It has to be both black and a sedan. So although it doesn't say the word and in there, it's implied because to be a black sedan, it does have to be black and a sedan. So this one a little bit more challenging because the word wasn't there, but that would be probability of black intersect is and sedan. All right, for D, it says the probability of the vehicle is either sedan or black. There's the key word for us. Or means union, so sedan or black. Probability of sedan or black. The word or means we can use the union. And for E, probability that the vehicle is a sedan and is not black. So this one you should have gone piece by piece. Probability of sedan and not black. Those are three things that we should be able to represent pretty easily here. So probability that it's a sedan and not black. So there's the sedan is S and is the intersection. Not black means black complement, and we can put that little symbol on there. Last one, F, probably the vehicle is a sedan or is not black. We do the same thing. Probability that it's a sedan or not black means black complement. So it should look like that. So you're literally going piece by piece and translating each part into the notation. The hardest one was probably C, just because it didn't have the and in there, and we had to recognize that it was implied. So to be a red truck or something, it's got to be both red and a truck. Let's look at the lesson practice now. Same thing, especially if you didn't on the last one, pause here, make sure that you try a few of these beforehand and check your work. That way, all you have to do is check the answers, and if you get something different, you can focus on that question. Don't just watch me do it because you aren't learning anything. 4, students select a random and about high school. A, be the event that the student takes an art class. B, they're in basketball. So art and basketball. Describe in words the event represented by the shaded region. Okay, so this one is kind of interesting here. I see this shaded region right here. Just basketball. So and not art. So literally what I said right there, like if I shaded this whole region right here, that would be probability that they're in basketball, right? If I get rid of this, what did I get rid of? You know, what if I'm not shading that region with the X right there? What am I getting rid of? I'm getting rid of the students that are in art. So I want the kids that are in basketball and not art. So I want the kids that are in basketball and not art. Okay, think about that for a second in terms of what's shaded. So it needs to be basketball. Let's go ahead and put this one on here. It needs to be basketball. Whoops. So I'm shading this right here. This is basketball. And it also needs to be not art. So let me shade everything that's not art. Okay, notice the intersection is where the green lines and the red lines cross. That's only right here. So that is the intersection of those two things right there. That is basketball and not art. We also want to write the event in set notation. So this is the probability that it's basketball and not art. All right. What about this one? Let's think about this in words first. Just make sure we know which pieces are shaded. This is the intersection here of art and basketball. So these are the students that are in both art and basketball. These would be the students that are in just basketball and not art. These are the students that are in just art, not basketball. These are the students that are in neither art nor basketball. So the shaded region then is only the kids that are in both or neither. Okay, how can I do that? How can I find the kids that are in both or neither? Well, I want the kids that are in basketball and art. That's the intersection. Or neither, the complement of the union of those. So basketball or art complement. Just to be extra clear, this part right here represents the intersection. And this region right here is the complement of basketball or art. So the basketball or art would be the peanut-shaped region. So then the complement would be everything outside of that peanut-shaped region. So the green here is going to be the complement of art or basketball. To put that in words, we want the students that are in basketball and art or not in basketball or art. Basketball or art. So the complement of basketball or art. All right, that one, hopefully you won't see one as complicated as that on your quiz. You might see one like this or the previous questions up here, but you're not going to see one like number 4B on there. Question 5 just says, let's use these to do some probabilities. Suppose that a player will be selected at random from the roster of a local baseball team. Let the event that the player is right-handed thrower be R, and let the event that the player is a pitcher be Q. So Q Oh, I guess they wouldn't use P, so pitcher. So you could have, outfielders that are right-handed, or you could have pitchers that are left-handed. So obviously there's some overlap. You could have some right-handed pitchers there as well. All right, some of the relevant probabilities are shown in the diagram. Let's see what we can do here for 5A. One probability has been omitted from the Venn diagram. Calculate this probability. So let's figure out this one right here. How many of the players are not right-handed or pitchers? So 1 minus 0.46 minus 0.36 minus 0.08, and we get 0.1. So 1 minus 0.9 equals 0.1. So that is 0.10. So it says complete the table below by writing the appropriate words, numbers, or probability notation in the empty cell. So we're either going to have to be filling in words, probability notation, or the actual value on here. So we can see that the probability that a player is right-handed thrower, so both right-handed, just a right-handed thrower, probability of R, the total probability we get from these two things right here. So they added those up together, and you get 0.82, and that one's already filled in for us, and they have the notation there as well. What about the probability that a player is a pitcher? So probability that they are a pitcher would be Q, and we can add these two together here, and we get 4, so 0.44 when we add these two together there. Oh, that one was there. I can't erase that one. Okay, there we go. What about the probability that a player is right-handed and a pitcher? So probability that they are right-handed and a pitcher should look like that. That is the intersection. That's just 0.36. That's the shaded region there that we got. What about probability they're right-handed or a pitcher? Okay, and that's going to be these three regions. That's going to be all of, whoops, I guess I should get my head out of the way there. All of this one, and this one. So we add up those three, or I know it's going to be 0.9 from how much is not in there. So that should be 0.90. All right. Next one, here we have a complement of Q. So that means not a pitcher. So not a pitcher. And since we got this one already was 0.44. For a pitcher, the probability of it being not a pitcher has to be the rest. It's called a complement because it's the rest of it that adds up to 1. So 0.56 should be the rest of that. Or if you add these two together, the part that's not in the pitcher, you should get 0.56. So two different ways to do that. Subtract from 1 or add up if you know the other regions that aren't a pitcher, like this section here and this section. Either way, you get 0.56. All right, I think we got 2 more here. So probability that the player is right-handed thrower and not a pitcher. So let's figure out where these are at. Right-handed thrower and not a pitcher. Okay, so right-handed thrower would be right here. Would be this one. And means intersection. So I'm going to pick a different color here and shade where it says not a pitcher, right? Yeah, so not a pitcher. So everywhere outside of the pitcher, and I see that the intersection for and, it needs to be an intersection, is only this right here. So all of this right here, that 0.46, would be that they're right-handed and not a pitcher. So that's just 0.46. So probability, they are a right-handed and not a pitcher. All right, so there's your right-handed, there's your and Q complement means not a pitcher. All right, this one is interesting. So probability, let's read this piece by piece. Not right-handed and, the intersection is and, not a pitcher. So we need the intersection of not right-handed and not a pitcher. So let's go back up here to this. And we need the intersection of not right-handed. So I'm going to go ahead and start shading. Not right-handed is all of these blue lines on here. All right, and so intersection, I'm going to pick a different color here and do the intersection. Okay, so where is there both red and blue lines? Looks like it's out here. Everything out here, as I'm coloring, has both red and blue lines. So that would be just 0.10. I guess I could. That was the green area there. That was 0.10. That's everybody else that's not in any of these regions. So 0.10. All right, please do the activity 39 practice on these, because at this point students are starting to feel a little overwhelmed and trying to catch up on some other stuff. Do the practice so this sinks in. Even if you feel like it's easy, just do the homework for this section. That's why we only have, we lessen the number of lessons that you do each day, so you'll have some time to actually review and do the homework practice as well. If you need some additional help, check the tutoring schedule. I know there's at least one today during these school hours and one after school as well. All right, good luck with your next lesson.